Hi, this is Todd from UXly Software, the creators of One-Shot API. Today I'm going to show you how to build a token faucet in Telegram using the One-Shot API service in the If This Then That workflow platform. So we're going to start by coming over here to the Create button. We're going to be creating an applet. So let's start with the trigger. We're going to start with the Telegram trigger. And specifically we're going to be hooking up new message with key phrase and group. So this is what we're going to use to trigger sending tokens from our faucet to the user. We need to connect to our Telegram account. This will open Telegram. It'll open Telegram to the If This Then That bot. You need to authorize the bot against your account. There we go. Now we're done. Okay, so now we need a group. We need a group to serve as the faucet group. So let's create a new group. We're going to add the IFTTT bot to it. And then let's call it One-Shot API Faucet Demo. Okay, now we have the group. We have to connect the bot to the group, even though the bot is already a member of the group. Let's come back over here to the bot and run the connect group command. So we'll choose the group, the one we just created. We don't actually need all of these permissions. We just need it to be an admin. So let's add the bot as an admin. And you can see now that it sent us a message that, hey, you're ready to go. So let's go back over to the user interface. And you can see we've selected the API Faucet Demo group, and we're going to use a key phrase. The users will have to type in #my_wallet in order for this to trigger. So they'll type in my wallet and then their wallet address. And as a reply, why don't we send them a rocket emoji, create trigger. Okay, so now we have our trigger. The next thing we're going to add is a query. We're going to add the one-shot list transactions query because we want to limit how often group members can request tokens from our faucet. So we are going to point it at our UXly business in our one-shot account. And we're specifically going to look at transactions coming from, let's use man versus gorilla mint. So that's a token I've deployed to the Sepolia network. It has a mint function on it, and that's going to serve as our faucet token for this demonstrator. We're not particularly interested in any specific transaction state. We want to check all transaction states. We're not going to bother with looking at a specific chain. We'll just look at all the chains even though it's on a specific network. Not necessary. But we are going to filter on the memo field. So we're going to say, let's filter on the memo of the author username because the usernames are unique, and we're going to use that so that users can't just change their wallet address and request more tokens. So essentially we are requiring that they have a Telegram username. And we're not going to use the two time fields. We're actually going to do something with the time delay in the filter code that we'll do last. So let's create that query. Now we're going to add our one-shot action. We're going to be executing a mint function. So let's find the one that we are filtering on. So we're going to call that mint function. And for the input parameters, we're not actually going to input the parameters here. We're going to do that later on. So we're going to just put an open close bracket and we'll leave it alone. But in the memo field, we're going to add from the trigger the author username. We're going to create the action. One more action we're going to do at the very end. If the user successfully requests tokens from the bot, we are going to have the bot send them a DM. So it'll send it to a private chat with them and the bot. And we're going to send them a message, hey, author name, we sent tokens to your wallet. And we're going to disable page view because we don't need it. Now the last step is we are going to add some filter code. So this lets us actually run JavaScript on the ingredients that come from our trigger and from our filter. So I've got a filter already written, and I will walk you through what it does. So in this filter code, we have a time window, which is in hours. Right now I've set it to 1/100th of an hour for the demonstration, but you could set that to 1 hour or 24 hours or whatever makes sense. We're going to be dropping 1 token per request. So this is a 1 with 18 zeros. We're doing it in way. And first thing is we're going to grab the text from the user, and then we are going to do a regex on that text to find a Ethereum wallet address. Next, this is a helper function that will help us determine, was the last time that the user requested tokens, was it past our time window? So we use that to get a Boolean, should we issue or not. The last part here is we do a match. So we match on the Ethereum address that we may or may not have detected in the user text. So if we found an Ethereum address, first we check, should we issue them tokens? So are they outside of the cool-off period? If so, here is where we execute our one-shot API execute action. So the 2 is the Ethereum address we found, and the amount is the drop amount. If they are still within the cool-off period, we skip the execution and we send them a DM that says, hey, you can claim more token in 1 hour from the last claim period. If we didn't find an Ethereum address, it meant it was a bad message, and we skip everything. Here we're actually going to put Telegram message skip right there. Add that filter. And here we go. Here is our completed applet, our Telegram trigger, listing transactions, filter code. If all of these pass, we execute our on-chain transaction, and then we send the user a DM. So let's continue. We need to give it a name. So we're going to call it if new ifty command with hashtag #mywalletin group, then check if user is in cool off period and send tokens. Finish. All right, now our Telegram faucet is live and powered by if this then that. Let's try it out. So in my faucet channel, if I type ifty, if I type if this then that, hashtag my wallet, there's our response. And then here is our confirmation from the bot. If we were to run that again, you can see we got the message about our cool off period. If we were to wait a few minutes, we could run it and claim more tokens. If we come back and check our one-shot transaction history, you can see here's the transaction that we just triggered. That concludes the quick run-through on how to create a token faucet, fully automated, with cooldown period, on any EVM network with one-shot API. We have more tutorials coming soon for things that you can do with if this then that on Discord and X. Watch out for those.